For what seems like an eternity, we've watched Volkswagen prepare its first ground-up electric vehicle for market. It started with more concept cars than I think I have ever seen a car company offer. And with every new concept car, Volkswagen earnestly promised us that it would become if not the, world leader in electric vehicle technology. Yet the process of bringing the ID.3 hatchback to market in Europe has seemed more like a carry-on movie or maybe a vaudeville act than the carefully executed plan of a company super keen to transition away from fossil fuels and cast itself in a new light against its past transgressions. We have seen delays after delays, caused primarily with software development headaches and integration with the various computer systems that are found in the ID.3. And all of these issues, I understand, can be traced back to the rushed way in which the ID.3 was brought to market. At least, that's according to insiders talking to news outlets like Manager Magazine on condition of anonymity. Originally, the ID.3 had been expected to launch in the spring of 2020. That was then pushed back to the summer, then to September this year, and while I haven't been able to corroborate the latest rumours that it's now going to be pushed back to December this year, I frankly wouldn't be surprised if the planned September launch suffers some further setbacks. Delays are of course one thing. Nobody is perfect. But Volkswagen's treatment of ID.3 and the upcoming ID.4 in the US have felt so confused as to suggest one part of Volkswagen is completely unaware what another is doing. It also suggests a management structure which wants something to happen, but where intra-departmental communication is so terrible that teams are actually being counterproductive and slowing each other down, each being so focused on their own task that they've lost the bigger picture. Back in January this year, Volkswagen confirmed to Chris from the Battery Life YouTube channel that the ID.3 First, a special limited production launch edition of the ID.3, wouldn't get the dual zone climate control that had been promised when it launched, or even parking assist. These features would later be added for later cars, and features that could be enabled via over-the-air software update could then be turned on with a trip to customers' local Volkswagen dealerships for the actual software update meant to then activate over-the-air software updates. Yeah, it's a mess, and these issues can be traced back to the aforementioned developmental processes for the car's software and hardware. ID.3 is essentially the most tech-centric car Volkswagen has produced to date, but it feels like it's been designed with a little less regard for modern software development practices than might be smart. I'd like to say it's just Volkswagen, but it's not. I've seen other automakers flail about trying to build electric cars or successfully building an electric car without really understanding what an electric car needs or should be like. While electric cars could and should be a fresh start and a clean slate for legacy automakers, so many have just designed cars without that fresh start approach. Anyway, this video is about Volkswagen, so let's get back to them. One thing that it did do right with the ID.3 was to offer 3 different battery pack sizes. This not only allowed the company to build a lower priced entry-level model, thus lowering the point of entry to get behind the wheel of an EV, something that you probably know I'm passionate about, but it also allowed people to choose a model that made sense for them based on their daily driving routines. But what didn't make sense, and what didn't actually become common knowledge until the start of this year, was the compromise that Volkswagen decided to make in order to give the longest range ID.3 a 77 kWh battery pack. You see, the ID.3 in its lower capacity variants, a 45 kWh and 58 kWh variant, are actually classed as 5-seaters. But the higher capacity 77 kWh variant is only rated and built for 4 passengers. The stupid thing is that the rear bench seat is the same in all vehicles. There's just not a middle seatbelt in the highest capacity one. The reason for this is presumably because there's some kind of issue about vehicle weight and performance with a higher capacity battery pack. I should note here that the stoplight sprint takes around 7.6 seconds with the 77 kWh pack, rather than 7.2 seconds for the 54 kWh battery pack. A 5th passenger in the larger capacity variant would no doubt make that performance far worse. Yet that decision to simply drop a seat, invariably cutting Volkswagen ID.3, or at least its longest range variants, off to a sizable number of potential customers, makes no sense. The fact that the highest capacity variant won't be compatible with a panoramic sunroof for the exact same weight-related issues is another head-scratcher. And it suggests that, just as with the software issues, Volkswagen didn't apply itself particularly carefully when designing ID.3. Moreover, it suggests a car that is just chock full of compromises. If a car you're interested in buying is limited in what you can have based on the battery pack size because of weight concerns, it suggests that vehicle is poorly designed or its power electronics are simply not powerful enough. It's not clear if the rush here has been because Volkswagen believes it must get a car to market sooner rather than later, or if there is just some institutional problem preventing the correct resources to be used to ensure that development work is done properly. And to be fair, I've not yet driven the ID.3, so I'm going to reserve actual judgment of the car until I do. Hopefully the next time in Europe, as long as I haven't upset Volkswagen too much, I might get a car to drive. But from a distance looking in, the way that Volkswagen has handled its ID.3 rollout is nothing short of a metaphorical car crash. Either way, it has left me wanting to advise anyone considering an ID.3, if they can, to wait a little longer than you normally would with a brand new vehicle in order for Volkswagen to have some extra time to iron out all of those teething problems and all of those supposed kinks that still need to be fixed with an over-the-air software update. As for the launch of the ID.4, well, hopefully we'll see progress in North America soon on the ID.4's production facility in Chattanooga. Earlier this week, Volkswagen released this image in relation to its plans for the Volkswagen ID.4's development. And honestly, the terrible combination of the render with a real photograph, and there are plenty of lighting artifacts between these two elements, just makes the whole thing feel like a terrible Photoshop and ultimately a metaphor for Volkswagen's current EV development strategy. That leaves me very sad indeed, because as you may know, I used to own one of two right-hand drive electric Volkswagen Golf City Stromers that was made in 1984. I also love the driving experience of the current Volkswagen e-Golf and the current e-Up. Will the ID family be able to actually bring itself together, or will it just continue to be a mess? I don't know, but I want you to leave your thoughts below. That's it for today's video. If you'd like to help us make more videos like this one, please do like, comment and subscribe. And you can support us using the links below, which now include Ko-fi, Patreon and Bitcoin. Don't forget as well that you can chat with the rest of the Transport Evolved team and other Transport Evolved fans on Discord. There's a link below, and if you're a Patreon supporter, you will get special access to Discord chats for Patreon supporters. Thanks to the folks scrolling by on my right. They are our charged up patrons. Thanks to Jeffrey Songs, to John Lyons and Regine Fellows, our self-driving patrons. And special thanks to our Starman level patrons Marcel Ward, Reggie Watts, JP Fagerback and Sean Udea. If you want to catch something else from this channel, then the Google algorithms think that you might enjoy this one, so check it out if you haven't, and I'll be back soon with more great content for you all to enjoy. Until next time, wash your hands, stay safe, wear a mask when you're out and about, and work to become a better, kinder, more considered person. Strive for equality, speak out against injustices and bullies, and treat others as you'd like to be treated yourself. The world's a whole lot nicer when you're kind to each other. Be that change. And please, if you are in the US, you are a voting age citizen and you're able to vote, please do make sure that you're registered so that you can exercise your democratic right in November this year. Look, I do not care who you vote for, but democracy always works best when everyone gets involved. Thanks for joining me, and until next time, keep evolving.